What's going on, comic book fans? Do not adjust your YouTube. You're at the right place at the right time. This is Guess That Show. No, I'm kidding. It's actually at week's end. So you're at the right place. You're at the right time. I am just here. I'm like a placeholder. I'm like that person who kind of sits in the seats when the person at the Oscars goes up to get their win. I'm just here until Mark shows up. He should be here pretty soon, I think, hopefully. But we're gonna get started anyway because we don't want to ever start. We don't ever want to start late unless it's 1 minute. It was 8:31, so we started. But yeah, you're here for at week's end. And I am joined by Flash by Night. TJ, what's going on?
And if you think this guy is a placeholder, you should get a load of me.
um, like I said, Mark should be here. He just said he might be a little bit late, but hopefully he will be here soon. But if not, we got this.
Yes,
TJ, you and I, we got this. No problem.
I
But
am
before we get
100%
started,
confident.
I want to make sure that we get to all of the things that we're supposed to get to. Don't forget about the sponsor for the channel, Big Time Collectibles. They are the best online retailer in the business. They do tons of exclusives, very popular convention presence. So make sure you shop them. Get on their mailing lists because they're constantly, almost every week, they're doing different drops for different exclusives that they have. So yeah, Big Time Collectibles. Don't forget about them. And Justin, if you need anything cleaned or pressed, don't forget about Justin Comic. Just reach out to him. Use code word We Are Legion, and you get a little bit of a discount. And don't forget about ABX. That is Mark's LCS. Paul is in charge of that. It is really, although it's Mark's LCS, I really kind of call it. It is the comic community's comic shop. Because Paul provides comics to people far and wide, not just within the Augustin area. So make sure that you frequent him as well, and tell him you said hi. Tell him that Legion of Comics sent you. So um, see what I think that's pretty much it. I think the only other thing I wanted to mention was if you are interested, they're calling all artists. In case you have not heard, um, Comics Curing Cancer is coming up. It is the first weekend of October. Right now, they are looking specifically for original art, sketch covers, art pages, original art pages, paintings, anything. If you have any of those things and you want to make sure that it goes to a good cause, just reach out to either DJ Links or Rob's Fat Stacks or Mark, and they will make sure that it goes into the auction. They're planning on having a special auction as part of that weekend just for original art and things like that. So besides all the other good things that they'll be having, all the other auctions they'll be having, they are looking at having a specific art auction as part of that weekend as well. So if you have anything that you want to donate, just reach out to one of them and they will tell you how to get it to them. Um, I'm guessing we should probably go out and see who is in the chat. I wonder who will be first. Oh, what
Ah,
do you know? It's Les Cruces, 1970. Yes. Good
surprise,
morning.
surprise.
Good morning. He has the 10:25 this morning. He was there. So good morning, hooray, woohoo, and hello. Wellbore counters with good morning, hooray, woohoo, and guess what else? Hello from New Mexico. So uh, hello, Wellbore. So DJ Links, thanks for joining us. A member for 33 months. Yes, don't forget. Also, if you are not a member, you can be subscribed. You can also become a member, and you will then be entered into the Legion loot box that he does once a month. Although last week he did the huge the Deadpool that Marcus Circumstances won all the Deadpool stuff, the original art Deadpool. It was incredible. So, but DJ Links, member for 33 months. So, try the shipping girl, Mark and Paul. Hey, what's going on? Let's see who else we have out in the chat tonight. Trav saying hello to you, TJ.
How we doing? How we doing?
Paul 619. Hey everyone, happy Sunday. Um, And yes, thank you, DJ. Yes, also looking for slabs and keys because obviously anything that's a slab or a key, that can generate a little bit of excitement in an auction. They definitely are interested in that as well. So just reach out to them again. They'll let you know how to get the information to them. So just reach out to DJ or Rob or Mark, and they will make sure that you get there. So. Let's see who else we have here. And I have comic issues. Um, Hello, everyone. Hello to you. So, and Kenneth Bird. Hi to everyone who is here tonight. Hello to you. So, so where do you want to start? We had a lot of stuff that actually happened this week that went down. So, um, let's talk about. Did you see the Brave New World?
I did. I did see the
Okay.
trailer a couple of
Okay.
times.
Okay, so let's talk about the Captain America: Brave New World trailer that came out this week. So, what did you think of it?
I am hoping that it is a brave new world, and
Yeah.
it is a. I hope it delivers. The movie delivers like the trailer delivered. I was very satisfied with the trailer. Um, I'm glad they brought back Isaiah Bradley. I think he gives us a key clue into as he gives us a look into what the movie is probably about. Um, nice action, nice surprise at the end. I'm pretty sure everybody's excited about Red Hulk. Hey,
Good to see
there's
it.
the real Slim Shady.
Yeah, just in time. Keep going. Keep going.
Mhm.
um, yeah, I mean it was a good trailer. Some intrigue going on. You can tell that aha, you can tell that everybody's not on the up and up. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Durs, thanks for joining us as well. So, um, Durs has some great comics that he just purchased. $20 for a whole comic collection. So, take a look at his videos. But okay, for me, there are a couple things that I noticed. There was like this little wink, wink to Harrison Ford, right, where Mackie says, "I didn't recognize you with your new look," right? Right. For those of you who don't know, he basically has replaced William Hurt in the movie. So that was kind of like a wink, wink to them. Um, there was not really. I mean, there was some action. It was really kind of though. I mean, the action that it had, I would say, was intense, but it was. I don't think feel as though they gave away a lot of it, which may be a good thing.
Did y'all catch? For me, one thing that stood out, like obviously the coolness of the Red Hulk being introduced.
Right.
But did y'all catch Isaiah was the one that looked like he took the shot on the politician?
Mm,
Yes.
right. And then it also looks as though they may actually finally be getting back to the Eternals movie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
assuming that's where our climactic battle will take place.
yeah. Because I assume that Isaiah knows more than everybody else at this point in the movie. I think he knows what's going on, even though other people don't. Because he's been in all of the government's backroom secret things as far as their military operations and things and the underbelly of it. He's kind of been through all of that. So I have a feeling he knows more than more than Sam especially, but he
Does,
probably knows more than he should know
does
at that point.
anybody have any guess who Giancarlo Esposito will be portraying in this film? I feel like they're holding him really close.
Yeah,
Uh,
and from what I read too is he has actually come out and said that so far no one has guessed who he's playing.
Yeah, but I feel like he
mo-
hasn't seen all the guesses at the same time. But
Right.
no
most
one.
most of the guesses I've seen is this character. I think G.W. Jackson or something like that,
GW
or
Bridge.
G.W. Bridge. There we go. That's what I've seen.
That's what I'm thinking.
95% of people say, but I'm guessing if he's saying that nobody's guessed right, that's probably the name he's seen the most. Unless he's just lying and keeping people trying to keep people off the scent. I don't know.
I assume he doesn't spend much time watching people guess.
Yeah,
Probably not.
He's too busy being in everything that's filmed in Hollywood to actually have.
I do want to say, all in all, like the trailer, like we've talked about it before for a long time. I love Anthony Mackie as an actor. Outside the MCU, in the MCU, he's just a fun actor. He won me over with the special features in uh Winter Soldier years ago with the whole cut the check featurette. Won
Oh,
me over. I saw it. You see him on set, just how he carries himself. He looks like a delight to work with, to hang out. He just seems like a genuinely awesome individual. And Falcon's cool as hell. He's OG Captain America character, you know. And then for them to not front run him immediately following Endgame is the biggest misstep. So I'm really hoping they stick the landing with this. It had those vibes that it's nuts and bolts. It's just a Cap movie. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Hulk is
Yeah,
perfectly fine there. He fits the script with Thunderbolt Ross. That's natural evolution for that character. So
there's
I
just
so
there's
don't want them to mess this up.
there's just one problem. He's no Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not. That's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay. The problem is if people suspect him to try to fill Steve's shoes.
Yeah.
He's just Sam Wilson.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
That's all he
yeah,
has to do. But
I was
I've
just
seen
joking because
some
that was
people
in the clip.
yeah.
So
And I,
wanting to boycott the movie because there's a character, some female character that's it apparently got too real world for him because she's an Israeli character and people don't like that they're replacing Steve Rogers. It's just some disheartening stuff out there.
yeah, and I kind of I've always I know people aren't going to let go of Steve, which is totally understandable. But I've always liked the idea that if Steve weren't around, you could because everybody looks at Captain America and says Captain America, super soldier serum, and that's their thing. He's not super strong. He doesn't have super soldier serum. My idea of Captain America is kind of like my idea of Superman, which is being that publisher's North Star, the leader and the moral compass of everybody. And so if he can do that as a person, he might not he can't lift cars, well, unless he uses a jetpack or whatever. But I think he has the essentials for the person Captain America.
I wonder if anyone's mad that Steve Rogers can't fly.
yeah, exactly right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and but to your point, like whenever I come on vacation, we go to Books a Million.
Mhm.
We can go a handful of times, and I always try to grab some discount trades and everything. And the trailers got me so jacked that like I picked this up first thing. It was like a $40 trade for $12, and I diving into this, but this isn't done very well. Like all things considered,
Yeah,
I'm only 6 issues into it, which it's
Mhm.
numerous different things. So it's got the Captain America issue where Steve's an old man. He's been aged up, and he
yeah,
gives Falcon the shield, which is kind of corny. Rick Remender actually wrote it, but it's all like potty humor. It's weird. All the Avengers are together at the mansion for Steve to make the announcement that he's passing it on. It's just bad humor. But then it starts with a 4-issue miniseries called Fear with him fighting him fighting the Marvel Scarecrow, and it's kind of just not done well. But I'm now into the proper all new Captain America and see how it goes. But yeah, hopefully it's solid.
Just thought about
yeah.
this. Will they change the attempt on Thunderbolt Ross's life scene after yesterday's real life events?
No, I'm
They
gonna
can't.
say no.
They can't afford to film anything else. they're already in it for $350 million.
I mean, what's another what $100,000 to
Like it
shoot
looks like you can tell that a lot of the stuff in the trailer takes place in DC. You saw the White House getting thrashed.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
saw Falcon like squaring up at the Cherry Blossom Park, like that's in DC. And so there should be some really cool like uh, sets or locations, you know.
so my assumption is that this is a America getting taken over from the inside kind of plot line. We need better security. we already did that with Shield. Now we're just expanding it out to the government in general. We need better security. We need more name badges and multi-factor authentication. We need to do something.
Either way, I mean, it does. It definitely did make me want to see the movie.
Yeah.
You know, so which is what a good trailer should do without giving away everything away. Um,
I
I,
watched the first 3 episodes of the TV show late last night just because I just wanted to see some aerial action. It's just there's just something about it. It just looks cool watching a man fly.
Yeah.
It's
oh,
just
that opening scene with that. I mean, the opening
in the
When
is
he,
desert.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I hope they stick the landing. I hope they stick the landing with Deadpool. Like they hope they get back on a good
Hmm.
momentum here.
yeah.
Like I do want to say I'm very cautious though, knowing that this is a movie that's been ballooned to 360 million, not counting marketing. It's been reshot twice. They went back to scratch. You know, like it's had a rough go of it because of its reception, not for any other reason. Like it tested terribly every time. But then again, the stuff they released that tests good hasn't. Maybe that's the secret. Like your testers are the problem.
Yeah.
The testers are the problem.
Yeah. And I think I
Maybe.
mentioned that there was the whole scene and the characters that what's the guy from the WWE, the
Seth
guy
Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
He played a character, some snake character or whatever. I can't think of the name right now. But his whole character and his whole mini storyline has supposedly been axed from it.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that. Putting WWF wrestlers in movies has gone both ways over the
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah. But I think if you give, I don't know how well proven he is as an actor, but having him play the fourth, fifth most important character in the movie, that's just what I'm guessing now. I guess it could go both ways, but I would like to know what it will if it is out of the movie. I would like to know what it was.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be curious if it was like a Batroc level character like they did with Saint Pierre.
yeah,
Leader of the Serpent
As
Society.
leader
Yeah.
of the Serpent Society, which is one of the previous names of this movie. Because originally it was called Captain America: The Serpent Society, then it was called Captain America: New World Order, and then it's landed on Brave New World now, but it's
Right.
undergone numerous name changes as well.
I never knew it started as Serpent Society. I always knew it as New World Order, and then changing to Brave New World because
You
you
know, they
might not
used to-
want to use New World Order.
Now they do those things where they show you the map of the next phase and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. When it was first announced on the timeline that they showed on the big screen, it was Serpent Society.
Okay.
Well, we got what? Like 7 months to go, right? Till we get there. So
It doesn't seem like a long time. It
No,
seems
not
like
at
it's
all.
moving fast.
yeah, absolutely. Speaking of those whole things, it was announced that Marvel is coming back to Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con. So they're doing a whole presentation. So besides us getting, clips of maybe what they're doing, we might get a whole other list of things that they'll announce and never put out.
That's what I was about to say. I don't know. Just going through the whole Blade debacle, I don't know if you want to roll out a whole bunch of stuff and whether or not if you can follow through or closely follow through.
Yeah, I think the big thing, besides that Deadpool weekend, I
Mhm.
think it's going to be the big announcement of the X-Men. To me, it's got to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
the days
don't
of
put
the
a date
rollout
on it that
working good.
you can't follow through with.
Mhm.
The days of the rollout working good was when they were inside the Infinity Saga.
Mhm.
When there was a very, very specific plan chain of events. If you had to change anything, it'd be minor, like a release date by a couple of weeks. Now it's whole ass projects coming and going and never seeing the light of day.
Mhm.
But we'll see. We do have Agatha all along between now and then, so there is content for the people that are looking for MCU content, and rightfully so. It releases in October. I think they would have been better off doing Agatha as like a one shot special, like they did with Werewolf by Night.
Mhm.
That kind of makes it where the tone, the style, the theme of it is really irrelevant. It's for the holiday kind of thing.
Right.
You're not investing a lot of money. It's just like they do. If comics do it with one shots at every holiday anyway. The spring issue, the fall issue, the winter issue, Halloween. And it's just something fun that you don't have to participate in unless you just want to do something for the season kind of thing.
Right.
Like the way I made my family watch the Guardians Christmas special over Thanksgiving. Like
That was relevant somehow. That
Yes.
was somehow very
Yes,
relevant. Very
yes.
good.
But it was relevant to me and maybe to my wife. Nobody else in the house wanted to see Guardians. But it is the holiday season. Y'all are gonna gather around my TV and watch the Guardians holiday special.
But to your point, though, Mark, I really hope that it is part of Bob Iger's new thing too. I know he says, not as much and more quality and things like that, but hopefully they're going to be open to the fact that of people coming in and saying, you know what, I have this incredible idea for a Dazzler special. It doesn't fit into anything that you guys are doing, but it's just an incredible idea. And
Yeah.
and hopefully they'll be open to actually doing those. Not everything has to fit into some, years long
Yeah,
narrative.
you don't have to break your canon to do one shots.
Right.
Right.
Werewolf by Night worked perfectly well. Everyone loved it.
Right.
Even the never Disney folks, which I'm nearly one of those people. Like I strive hard not to be, you know what I mean? But I'm happy to give credit where credit's due. I just don't give it out easy to Disney anymore. But that was amazing, and if they could do more of those things, I mean, it had everybody happy.
Did anybody ever go back and watch the color version of Werewolf by Night? They made. I
No.
I said I wanted to, and I never did make it back to it. I don't know if it's necessary. I think it defeats part of the purpose of the show itself, being in black and white and having that old timey feeling. But I'm just
Didn't
wondering
it shift to color for like the last 3 seconds of the show at the very end too, and they were just sitting there in the woods together?
when he and Man Thing were outside. I think they switched the color
Yeah.
for that
So I
conversation.
watched the black and white version twice in the first few minutes of it, a handful of times because the month it came out, two Halloweens ago, I think. Finn was enjoying watching it because it was scary, but it wasn't like it had that style to it where it wasn't like overtly like menacing. It felt
Yeah.
scary, fun kind of thing. Yeah, Man Thing. Ted was great. Man Thing was amazing. That's something that both Marvel and DC have now done absolutely perfect is Man Thing and that Swamp Thing TV show, flawless.
Yeah.
Flawless with the Swamp characters
That was
across both
that
companies.
was one of the biggest disappointments when they canceled that after one.
Yeah, they should
after
just
one
bring
season.
it back. But we know we got Swamp Thing coming. They're not sleeping on the character. He was part of the first phase of stuff.
Was it Gods and Monsters? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
think-
the
yeah.
initiative.
The initiative, yeah.
Weird to call it a phase. But yeah, the first initiative under DC.
Speaking of DC initiatives, and since we're still at San Diego Comic-Con, let's talk about Absolute Power.
Fill us in. What do we
The
got so far?
absolute. They announced their Absolute comics. They basically their Ash Can edition of Absolute Batman leaked, and it basically has a laundry list of some of the creators that will be as part of the Absolute Comics initiative that Scott Snyder will be spearheading. So he and Nick Dragotta will be doing Absolute Batman. Kelly Thompson is supposedly doing Absolute Wonder Woman. Jason Aaron is doing Absolute Superman. Supposedly Jeff Lemire, and I heard Wes Craig as the artist maybe doing Absolute Flash. And then they had a whole bunch of other people as well. So
This is a huge initiative at this point. Huge.
yeah, and they're basically what they're doing is they're bringing the heroes into current time, as though they were created in the present day, and with some differences. I mean, Batman is definitely different. He's big and bulky. Yes, time out.
We haven't seen any solicitations yet of this, right?
It should come
Right.
out, but this month because they're supposed to come out in October in the
Have we
October
seen
issue.
solicitations of our Earth Zero stuff past Absolute starting?
No,
Do you think that we're going to have a time frame of only Absolute?
no.
No.
I don't think so.
Like, I was just thinking, like, with that many titles, that's so much. That's doubling your release for a month, pretty much. And on top of that, we know like what's happening in comics. All the characters are supposedly now depowered, and of course, I mean, I know it's the start of a story, but no way of reversing it. It was
Right. And actually, what they did was they they strategically placed issue 4 of Absolute Power on the first Wednesday of October, so that hasn't been solicited yet. So issue 4 will be solicited, and supposedly that's going to somehow play into the
yeah.
whole.
This is going to be related to each other. This absolute
Right.
power event.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, do we need? I mean, will people buy a third Superman only title with action and Superman and
I
absolute?
need a new Flash comic. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Hey, get it? Absolutely. Yeah, me too. Um,
because this one that we got ain't doing it.
yeah, exactly. Um, but you know, will people pay for basically doubling up on all of their, or or getting a third title?
Realistically, I don't know. Like I know I'm a diehard reader when it comes to DC stuff, and I'll read all of it. But this gets me to the point where I'm thinking, do I collect the issue ones and then go digital from there? You know, I already pay for the DC Ultimate Ultra tier, but that's still 1 month, like literally like to the day, 1 month after street date.
Mhm.
But I would I'd have to weigh the options because I would be more interested in keeping my run complete of the series proper than I would be of the absolute series.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, we talked about this. I'm a completist, and as much as I am not really enjoying Flash, I've got every Flash for the past 35 years. So I'm probably
Right.
still gonna buy.
And I'm gonna just keep saying I'm gonna drop it. That's what I'm just gonna keep saying it.
And Superman and Batman are like they're the top two,
Right.
unquestionably. But they already have two mainline books every month.
Right.
So you're asking like for me, I just have to buy a second Flash book. But you're asking other people to buy a third Superman book and a third Batman book, along with the numerous minis that
Right.
Batman gets.
I think they're
Much.
more interested in getting the people that aren't pulling any Superman titles. They're not
Right.
pulling the Flash book. They're not. They might pull Batman, you know, or they
Yeah.
might pull Wonder Woman or GL. They might pull one or two books or no books. They're interested in getting them over for the first time more than anything with this. I think
Gotcha.
Yeah.
that's
I
what
think. I
that's what
think.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're trying to create new comic readers with this, and not have. And if people who currently collect Superman and Batman, whatever, collect these as well, that's kind of like gravy. They're trying to get the new people in.
I'll definitely get the Superman books
Oh yeah.
out of all of them. If there was one I'd continuously pull, it would be the Superman one.
And I would do Superman and probably Green Lantern.
Do we have a Green Lantern one?
Hasn't been announced, but I mean, there was a lot of, and the other thing is, there's nothing that says there was a whole list of creators there. There's nothing that says that, necessarily all of these are going to be ongoings either. You could just have some miniseries, that do this as well for some of the, maybe
Right.
for some of the smaller, B-list characters or whatever. So, all will be revealed at the Absolute panel in just 2 short weeks.
Absolute
Um,
Comic Con.
exactly, exactly. Um, what else? What else was announced? Trying to think of what else. What else did we have, Mark? Oh, Mark's talking to someone off screen.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'll say,
I thought there was more that we had from Comic Con, but we had the Marvel thing. We had the DC Comics. Um, it
any
is. What's that?
any indie or mid publishers have any kind of news for Comic Con?
Not yet that I've seen anyway. So, trying to go. Oh, one thing. The other thing that we could actually maybe get some, if uh, at San Diego Comic Con, they're going to do an absolute, a a two narrative printing. It's going to be all absolute. It's going to be half of it's going to be absolute. The other's going to be the other initiative is called DC All In, which is their regular continuity. And so they're going to print actually another comic book that is DC All In, which is going to have both the regular continuity and the absolute continuity. So that's coming out as part of this publishing initiative as well. But the other thing that we could possibly hear something about, if James Gunn happens to be there, is will we hear about Booster Gold? And you all
I
know what I mean.
I am betting not, but we could see maybe.
I don't think he's the right person to me. For me, yeah. See, I'm with Trev. God, I hope that's just a rumor.
Yeah, I don't trust any of those smaller news sources from Twitter posts, and I don't trust any of them. People just kind of just fly off the handle and fly off the hooks and throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And I hate that kind of stuff. Assuming it's just a rumor, assuming it's not real. I hate that it gets circulated and gets people all worked up and in a tizzy.
Yeah,
No.
his name is Kumail Nanjiani from the Eternals and other heavily comedic roles. He's a good actor. He's a funny
Yeah.
actor. It's just, dude, I don't want anybody that I still have like a bad taste in my mouth from another superhero project that wasn't that long ago, anyways. It wasn't his acting that was an issue in Eternals, but it's just he's kind of a typecast actor. Like whatever
Yeah.
he plays himself in, the sarcastic, wisecracking guy, which is a Booster Gold thing, but you're just going to see him kind of deal. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I don't think they go in that direction.
I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, it surprised me to see it because he does have the characteristics like what I just described. Is kind of a Booster Gold. Like he's got the, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. He's got a lot of work to do to me if he's going to be Booster Gold.
I just think that I feel like people kind of all to get the feeling by now that not having characters be accurate just for your, I don't know if it's for amusement or it's you want to try this, but going away from core characters is kind of hurting movies and shows and kind of public perception and stuff. I don't know if you want to go that far away from Booster Gold. That without getting too far into that subject, I don't know if you want to go that far away. Just make Booster Gold as he is and find somebody to match who Booster Gold is.
It shouldn't be hard. He's such a that's part of the character. He's such a stereotype of superheroes. Like Booster is supposed to be like a stereotype of the mold. You know what I mean? And a bad of it.
Yeah. Trev said that Glenn Powell from Top Gun 2. Is Aaron Starr? Is he the guy who plays Homelander? People were asking about him, but he says he will not play another superhero ever again. Which he doesn't really play one now. He plays a powered up person, but he doesn't really play a superhero. So
he plays a superhero in his own mind.
He does, yeah. It's funny. I was watching an interview with him, and he said that he was doing like these con or whatever, and he's like, they're like, this is Anthony Starr, yeah. He's like, people are just realizing now, like 4 seasons in, that we're not the good guys.
Did y'all see the little featurette with Glenn Powell talking about how he auditioned for the role of Maverick?
No.
Yeah, he was doing an interview talking. They asked him about how they had heard he auditioned. For the role of Goose. I'm sorry, and he got the call and he said that he didn't get it, and he said he was crushed. And he got that call that he didn't get it on July 3rd that year. So he said July 4th was like the worst day of his life. Like he was so excited. He was wanting that part. He was wanting to be a part of it and wanting to do something substantial. And then like about a week later, he gets a call from somebody at the studio saying, "Hey, we would love to offer you a part. It's not that one, but we'd like you to be in the movie." And he turned it down because like he didn't want to do like a lesser role because he didn't want to do that to his career. He was protecting his career and like
Yeah.
what he had done so far, and he wanted to keep his trajectory like up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they said okay, hung up, and then he gets a call back later and like, hey, Tom would like to talk to you. He's like, what? Like, yeah, Tom would like to talk to you. When can you come in? He's like, right now.
They
He's like,
calling the big guns.
yeah. So he goes and he sits down with Tom and Jerry. That sounds funny, but you know,
Yeah.
Brockheimer and
Yep.
Cruz. And he said he sat down and Tom goes, the first thing I said, so what do you want your career to look like? He said straight up, I want to be you. He goes, well, I didn't become me by having the best part in every movie. I became me by surrounding myself with the best projects possible. And he said he was sold instantly. And he said my life has never been the same since I did that movie. It's just been skyrocketed since I did that movie.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm glad for him that Tom called and he took that role because
Bagman, he killed it, didn't he?
spoiler alert, when I saw him show up at the very end of that movie,
Oh, you just want to throw your popcorn.
yes, because everything looked bleak and dark, and there was no hope in sight, and then the clouds opened up, and here he comes. I'm like, what? Yes,
He comes in cocky and talking trash.
yes, that too, and it looked like if they ever went back for a Top Gun 3, he and I forget the other character's name.
Miles Teller.
Yeah, he and Miles Teller could definitely be the Goose and Maverick of a Top Gun 3, and then that Maverick kind of be the Iceman of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, after they had that discussion, then Tom said, "Have you ever heard of Scientology?" All right. Should we move on to Mark's favorite subject?
Yeah, because I don't want to end on a sour note. So let's go ahead and squeeze the lemon.
Let's go ahead and talk about the Acolyte. So we had another episode, which surprisingly looked like an episode like 5 episodes earlier. A lot.
We did a rerun of episode 3, but somehow decided to make it worse.
Exactly.
In this episode, the penultimate episode, we spend the entire 30 minutes just going back to episode 3 and seeing most of it the way we saw it the first time, but a chunk of it, a portion of it, from the vantage point of the Jedi, revealing the details of what happened on that fateful day at the witch's house when the kids got adopted by the Jedi, when all the witches died, and it's shockingly exactly what everyone predicted who had eyes and watched episode 3.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. I was sitting there the entire time saying, I didn't like this the first time I watched it. Why am I watching it again?
It was pretty bad. God, I'm trying so hard to be nice and just not just go up on it. There was a lot of inconsistency with characters. There was a lot of like story plot that felt like non sequiturs, like this action plus this action makes no sense for the next action. We've been wondering
some brand new force powers that people have.
It's just weird. We've been wondering since episode 2 what possibly could have been so bad that Master Corbin, who's been meditating for 8 years, would unalive himself, and apparently it was nothing, literally nothing. He did nothing at all. Didn't even seem shaken up by it. But the Jedi are inspecting the planet because it's reported that it is a barren planet that has life on it now. A planet that was affected by a hyperdrive incident that was close by and killed the life there. So they were there just investigating it, and they come across these kids that can use the Force. Look further, they see a Jedi or a Force cult, and from some slapstick vaudeville mishap understanding, they think these kids are going to be sacrificed, so they have to intervene. But it's not even just that. Like Saul, our main character, has this inappropriate feeling, unnatural feeling, just unorganic draw to this character that just wants to go steal this little girl at all costs.
Yeah, and Torben goes from, repeating ad nauseum, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. He's like a dog, like I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home, a squirrel, and he like, so he keeps saying that, and then suddenly he says virgins, and he like takes off, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
so they discover that this planet is in fact a vergence or like a nexus point of the force where it's just super strong, and they discover that these girls were created by these witches using the force, and they have the evidence that it's a vergence, have the proof, and then Torben makes a line of dialogue. Oh, I can go get him so I can go home, and drives off while they're holding the proof in their hand. They don't even need the girl. So it's writing like that that's like all throughout this show, like all throughout this episode heavily, where what's happening does not logically make sense for what they just said or did. They all right, we have the evidence, it's a vergence. Like he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go steal the girls then. Why? And then he says, Saul, go get him and stop him. Okay, I will. Catches up to him. Let's go up there. And like nothing, like you have Trinity that's kind of supposed to be the leader of them. That's their moral compass that's trying to learn them something along the episode. And we get through the episode to the end when everything hit the fan and we're back on the ship. And they're like, all right, we need to call the council. And they allow that character to be the one to say, no, we don't call the council. What we
Right.
do is we tell them that the girl started the fire and everyone's dead.
right.
And when
This character who has been spent the entire episode saying we got to call the council before we can do this.
yeah, and like in all reality, they could have called. They were like, "Hey, council, we're we're about we're on the planet now, but just giving you a heads up. There's a vergence here, and we found a force cult, and we're pretty sure they're going to sacrifice these kids. We went to investigate, and it went south. We got into a fight. All loss of life minus the girl. We're coming home. Some injuries. We'll see you soon. That's all they had to do. There's literally no problem calling and telling the council. There's no issue, but they just have to make the Jedi out to be bad guys, to be terrible individuals. It's a crap episode. And then as far as the cult witches go, you have like one kid that wants to go with them, one kid that doesn't. They got two moms, and one mom's like, you can't send the kids, and the other mom's like, we're gonna let the kid decide. And then when the Jedi show up, both moms are like, we're not sending them with you. Why would I send them to an institution instead of their family? And then May walks up, and Mother Anastasia just turns into a smoke monster out of nowhere. And as she's doing it, May's smoke monstering doesn't explain why, how, or what is happening. And Saul reacts and just stabs her. And her next line of dialogue is literally, and I shit you not, I was going to let her go with you.
Yeah.
Yo, you just told him you weren't.
Right.
And then you start dissolving a kid. And
Right.
then he kills you without a weapon, which goes against everything that they tried to teach us about the Jedi that isn't a thing to begin with.
Right.
It's just
Yeah, so we have that new power of turning into a smoke monster. The literally, I mean, it literally had to be like on one page she says one thing. If you flip the next page of the script, she says something totally different. It was that close to each other. So yeah, it was.
And then, like, not just that, like we did. Remember, we saw earlier in episode 3 when she controlled Torben's mind. She entered Torben's mind, blacked out his eyes. We saw the other side of that in this, with her talking to him in his mind, controlling him. And then later in this episode, like she didn't have to do anything. Like she was talking to Trinity while she was controlling his mind. It was like an ability. In this episode, we watched Mother Hornhead turn into a smoke monster and inhabit a Wookiee and start fighting them. And then it just turns camera to like the whole cult of witches all like sitting there chanting and apparently also inhabiting the Wookiee together simultaneously. Like they didn't explain that or why all of a sudden it takes an entire like army of them to do it. And Trinity happened to tackle the Wookiee and put her hand on his head and seemingly clear his mind, but simultaneously by clearing his mind, it killed everyone linked to him. Did it kill the Hornhead one too? Like questions. Nothing makes sense. Nothing flowed. I don't understand any of it. Most importantly, I don't understand how this exists.
Did you, by any chance, see some of the comments that Headley said this week about a season 2?
I don't want to know yet. Let's get to that in a second. TJ, I know you watch things from your own perspective and not necessarily with the same lens that I do. Weigh in because maybe you enjoyed it more than I did.
I have not seen an episode since episode 2. I skipped a week, I think, because usually I watch it before work. I get to work maybe an hour early ish because of me and my wife's schedule, and then that's my time to kind of make coffee, make some oatmeal or whatever, unwind, kind of loosen myself up for the day, close my door before people come barging in, and that's usually when I sneak my Disney shows in. But I missed a couple of weeks, and
I
then
remember thoroughly you posting that Instagram reel, trying to I'm trying to keep it optimistic here. I'm gonna watch this character Yule here, this young Jedi Knight. He looks like he's
yes, because he was super serious, and everybody else is loose, and he's kind of by the rules and things. And then, like around episode 4 or 5, I found out that the character I drew closest to is no longer around.
He got real loose,
and so I haven't rushed back to see it since then. And
it hasn't folded his head on his neck.
And it hasn't sounded like I need to rush back since then. Yeah, I wanted to have faith in it, but who knows?
Viewers, Leslie Headland has been on a rampage doing interviews with I don't even know who these people are she's interviewing. One of them is a source called The Mary Sue, and in that she just willy-nilly talks about how even early on, talking to the early episodes, how this is the Sith. They are fighting a Sith. She continuously refers to Quimir as a Sith, confirming he's a Sith. Like she apparently didn't understand why people were upset about messing up the canon age of characters. And the interviewee's like, it's no big deal. They're just mad about a birthday.
Although apparently he's not called a Sith. I mean, she may be calling him a Sith, but apparently in Star Trek canon or whatever, he's not called a Sith. He's called the Stranger. Is his character name.
That's just like the character's name, but I'm saying Sith is a title. That's
right.
Yeah,
but they don't identify him as a Sith.
She's confirmed that she created a Sith in this show. That is a Sith. But his name was the Stranger before they gave him the name Quimir. But that's what got tagged on toys and helmets and stuff like that.
Right.
But I wouldn't say the Sith, but she did, because a lot of people are arguing because that line of dialogue that the Sith haven't been seen for millennia. And people are like, well, there's one right here. And they're like, well, that's not a Sith. This guy just knows how to use the Force. He has a red lightsaber. He's fluent in the dark side, and he's fueled on anger, hate, and rage. He's not a Sith, though, because they didn't say the word Sith. Yes, they have. They said the word Sith now. Y'all can all tie in.
So speaking of this, that actually kind of leads into what I was going to talk about, was Headley has supposedly said that if there is a season 2, which I hardly doubt that there would be a season 2, but she has a way of connecting the show to Darth Plagueis.
Oh, I hope to God they don't let her do that. Please don't let her do that. Yeah, I agree. Every character I've seen so far who has the ability to use the Force has been a Sith. They're running on emotions. They're not calculated. They're not nothing. They're a bunch of Sith. They're deceitful. They're mischievous. They're literally Sith, all of them.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mean, Joe mentioned it. Someone asked me how I felt, and I told them there's only one more episode. So, so eventually next week, how I feel about the Acolyte is what my grandmother used to tell me is that this too shall pass.
So here's a question. Here's a question. In my eternal optimism, is there anything likable or anything to take from the show at all.
There was an incredible lightsaber
Fight.
battle.
Yeah, there's a fight that and credit to Leslie Headland that she said that she went back and addressed the lightsaber prop issue that Disney has had since Disney took over. They don't use the same lightsaber props that Lucas was using during the prequels, I guess, because filming technology has changed in X, Y, or Z. Disney decided to do bulkier ones that have like a lot more practical, real lights and stuff on them and all that. And but I'll be honest with you, what it comes down to is that their choreographers just suck. That's all it is. But they did slim down.
Love me some turtles.
But they slimmed down and they lightened up the hilt so that they can.
The hospital that you see turtles at.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
And I got one, a little doctor set that comes with like files and like a shot and a and a micro like thingy, and there's also a cage, and Emma ripped up some like paper towels for babies.
It was a good day. They have the sea turtle hospital on Jekyll, but they slimmed down the prop so that they can maneuver them and spin them better and easier. And my argument to that from day one has been Ray Parks did not have a lightweight hilt.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray Park redefined lightsaber battles, and then Hayden Christensen and Obi-Wan they set the bar in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That haven't been touched, but I will say this was easily nothing even comes close second to the quality of the lightsaber battle in this since the prequels in the Disney era. This is it. This is the mountaintop so far.
Agreed.
And you can go and watch that episode. Just you can skip episode 3.
Skip everything else.
Literally nothing happens in them.
Yeah.
And you can watch that episode from start to finish is just a fight. Hey, there it is.
And you'll still get to see your Yule at least for a little while.
At least for a little while. I'm like the one character I put my foot down on for this show, and he doesn't make it halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm. So from Star Wars to House of Dragon, man, talk about epic episodes. This was an epic episode. The last 20 minutes of this episode was just incredible.
I would argue this is the high watermark for television since it was set by the Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones.
Which I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything there, but that single episode of Game of Thrones is, in my opinion, the single greatest episode of television. And I think that this is a single episode. I think this is up there with that.
What season was that in?
6. Season 6 is the battle.
I may or may not have seen it. I'm still. I hit this huge pause, but I had to go back and start Game of Thrones later than everybody else. And I think I started season 6. I hadn't finished it yet, so I have to go back. Probably start the season over, so I know what's going on.
Yeah, it's going to be to the strength of the viewing experience that you're delayed with it, because a lot has come out that's not nearly as good. When that came out, and people were waiting week to week and living by the water coolers and stuff like that, it was a different experience when the show outpaced the books. But now the time's gone by and you're able to watch it all and kind of just it's not as jarring. It's pretty like you're just like, okay, we spent numerous seasons expanding this world, and now the last couple seasons everyone's actually together. They're not worlds apart. Everyone's on the same storyline. It kind of just feels a little more natural.
Yeah, so I was telling TJ that I was like the Game of Thrones as well. So, but I am through the entire first season now, and I've watched episode 1 of season 2. So the baby dragons have been born.
That was epic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone just like jaws on the floor and just fell to their knees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. House of the Dragons was the Dance of the Dragons that a lot of people that are familiar with the book content have been waiting on. We have we pretty much have House Green and House Black competing and racing for strategic military places. There's neighbors, homie. And they're racing to try to get strategic strongholds. Like House Black wants to race to Harrenhal to control the Riverlands, and House Green wants to go do X, Y, and Z. But Aemon and Kristen have different plans. They're not necessarily listening to the king, and they're kind of like pushing back against his battle plans and doing their own thing. And it revolves around taking a castle, an easy target. Something was it Reed's Rook or something like that?
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just
Reed's
so
Ridge.
it's definitely Rook. I remember that word.
Rook's
very
Ridge.
well. Rook's Ridge, maybe.
Something like that. Anyway, I know what you mean.
Rook.
They do
And
too.
so House Black finds out that House Green is about to go take it, and if they do, they're going to be cut off. So they send out Melees, which is like their biggest dragon, ridden by Rhaena, which is the queen that never was. It was the old king's sister, Viserys' sister. And she shows up and starts just thrashing the army. And out of nowhere, you see that Kristen had a plan, and his plan involves Aemon and the largest dragon that exists hiding out and coming in. And they expected this. They're going to ambush House Black. But unfortunately, the king himself, who's trying to prove himself to his court and his family and stuff, rides in on his dragon and gets in a big fight with Melees. And it's an epic dragon battle. And then you get Vagar show up, and he just blasts both of them, his brother and Rhaenys. He doesn't care. Ultimately, the king falls with his dragon. We don't know if he's alive or dead or what condition he's in. And ultimately, Rhaenys and Melees die at the hands of Vagar. It was a sad episode, action packed. It was so intense. The special effects are beautiful. The cinematography is breathtaking. It was insane.
It really was. You know, the whole dragon, the dance of the dragons is two, and then a third dragon, whatever, comes in. It was
Sunfire.
so done. It was done just so well, and it was like, you kind of feel for Rhaenyra's aunt there as she dies with the. And you kind of think that it's one of those where you think she's won, obviously, and then at the last minute you realize that she really hasn't. But I guess the question that I had that I was reading online too is, do we think that Aegon is really dead? Because apparently, I guess, although this happens in the book, that's not where Aegon dies in the book.
Yeah, I don't think I could avoid spoilers if I tried on this, because my feed is just there's so many memes and stuff, and people memeing off what they. So yeah, he's. I think it's projected that he lived. That's why they didn't definitively show him, because that'll be part of the shock of what we see tonight.
Right.
Is the reveal of the state that he's in, being that he was covered in Valyrian armor of Aegon the Conqueror's that he wore and rode out there. And that's going to have saved his life and also simultaneously ruined the life that he has left to live. Right. When that, I believe that armor is going to be fused to him.
Such as the Last Kingdom is greater than Game of Thrones. I would argue that they're two separate things, although they may seem similar. Game of Thrones is fantasy, sword and sorcery type thing in a lot of ways. Last Kingdom is kind of loosely based on actual history. The only thing that really is the same is that in the Last Kingdom, just like in Game of Thrones, like everybody has the same name. In Last Kingdom, it's Uhtred, son of Uhtred. It's like, okay, I'm Aegon, son of Aegon. It's like, but it really has to do with Vikings and things like that, and the creation of England, and those type of things. So really, it's more historical type thing. But it is very brutal. It is it is very good. So if you like that stuff, which I like history anyway, so. It is very good though. So,
where are you at on House of Dragons? You just hadn't started it at all?
I watched episode 1 of season 1, and then fell off of it. So I've got to go. I've got to start over. I'm terrible. I'm behind is my middle name for everything right now.
Well, I'm excited to watch the new episode tonight. It is officially on. I brought my earbuds just so I can watch it without having to find a way to get kids in bed early while they're on vacation. I ain't trying to do them like that. I most certainly plan on checking it out immediately.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it tomorrow. Tomorrow I get home from work, so
Oh, you
um,
work tomorrow?
I work tomorrow. Yep, off Tuesday.
Yeah. So for
Oh,
those that don't know, I'm on vacation, and on Tuesday, me and Paul are going to drive and meet up in Jacksonville, hit some shops. It's become like our annual routine. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Me as well. So, um,
Going to attempt to find a book to bring to Guess That Key this Wednesday at 9:30.
there you go. When we will have
pictures, pictures
the
like it
two.
didn't happen.
Exactly. Yeah. We posted the last couple of years about it. I promised to pay attention during lunch this year.
Yeah, last year he was shopping.
I bought a book to bring to Guess That Key last year during our lunchtime last year. Um, but for those who don't know, Guess That Key this Wednesday night, 9:30 on my channel. We're gonna have the two people who you will all be going off over to after this is over. Trev and Mike from Evil Comics. So they will be with us on Wednesday night at 9:30 and Guess That Key. Second appearance together. So
Nice.
yeah,
And they'll be live in about 30 minutes here on YouTube for those
yeah.
that want to check out their stream as well.
Sunday Night Live. So, anything else happen in the?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't have a
I
clue. I don't have any of my stuff here other than the laptop itself. I don't have any of my books, any of my little notes.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask the community at large. Is anyone watching My Adventures of Superman?
I have. I'm about 3 episodes behind, but I like it. I like it a lot.
They've been doing some good work. They
Yeah,
for it to be anime Superman basically. It
and that's why Mark will never watch it.
is.
Hey, I tried. I made it like 3 episodes.
I'll tell you what, these last few episodes, I won't give anything away. But these last few episodes leading into, I think it was episode 9 last night, are really they do some really good work with Lois and Clark. And have you gotten any Family Ties yet? I don't remember exactly what episode.
No, I know that Kara comes in this season. So
Okay, got you. Yeah. They do some really good work. And they have some cool twists and things going on.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's worth checking out.
yeah. Well, Bor, it is. It's on Adult Swim every Saturday night at midnight or Sunday morning at midnight, whatever you look at it. But then
Yeah,
they're all on Max the
yeah,
next day.
yeah.
So you can watch them on Max. So, but they've done some really interesting things. They've done some kind of little twists and turns with some
Yeah.
of the different characters running, but to me, it's still just as exciting. Amanda Waller is all over this. If you're an Amanda Waller person, you're gonna like it because it's all over it. Um, so yeah, it's really good.
I,
It does
I will say they really have the amount to just have DC.
yeah, exactly. She's not just in the comics; she is everywhere basically.
It's everywhere. Just the wall everywhere you look.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the greatest villains out there.
Yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, I'm really like I said, everybody's not exactly the same or doesn't play the exact same role. The feeling isn't the exact same, but I think it nails all the things it needs to nail
Yeah, I
for a
think the
Superman
the
story.
essence are there of
Yeah,
everything, and you know, Lex is a little bit different than he is in the show, but he's still the essence of Lex.
yeah.
He's still I think Amanda Waller is just as Amanda Waller is in everything. She is Amanda Waller, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah,
Amanda's still
it
Amanda.
yeah.
Clark and Lois are still Clark and Lois.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
done some tweaks on Parasite and on Metallo and
yeah.
on Kara and on
Uh,
Deathstroke.
yeah.
So
Jimmy's hilarious to me. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think Jimmy may be a take it or leave it kind of person, but I like Jimmy.
Yeah. Yep. So
Also, I didn't know, or I didn't know how well they were going to do it, but I've heard some things about the event, My Adventures of Superman book that takes place between seasons 1 and 2, and
yep.
I've heard they're actually pretty good reads if you're watching the show. Like they pick up right after season 1
Yep.
and do
And
some good work.
it's written by one of the executive producers, so it's not like just someone who's trying to, it's written by one of the people who is the heart of the show, basically.
Yeah.
Josie Campbell is the one who also is doing other work too. She took over Shazam when Mark Waid left. So Josie Campbell is the person
When
that's
multiple
writing.
marks left.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. When Mark Waid and Mark Landrum left Shazam. Um, speaking of books, want to talk about some books?
You
Sure.
know, remind me what came out this week. All I remember is Geiger. Yeah, that was a great issue.
Really
It
was.
felt really short to me, but maybe that's just because I was enjoying it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's like 4 or 5 pages that it's just the fight with the organ people. So
The art is fantastic, and you want me to synopsize it? In this issue,
sure.
Barney's missing. We see when he got taken, when Nate the Knight went to go retrieve a book that got damaged. The electrician took up Barney, pulled a tooth out, left it with a note so that they knew he was serious. So now Nate the Knight and Geiger have to cross the airport, which they were going to avoid at all costs, knowing that the largest concentration of organ people they've ever seen were in there. And Geiger don't care. Treat just goes in there just straightforward and just rips them to shreds, takes them to pieces pretty much. Epic battle. Nate the Knight's in there, sword swinging, doing his thing, violent issue. They finally catch up with the electrician who set a trap for him, shocks them both, like just flips the switch. Nate's wearing all that armor. He had a trap ready for Geiger. He's aware of what his tungsten rods are made of, and had a trap set that kind of nullified his ability. So he was at the very last of the page. The electrician walks up to him with a shotgun, point blank, and blasts him.
Hmm. He falls to the ground. Basically, the last panel has him basically laying there in a puddle of blood, with basically the promise that someone will die next issue, but we don't know
Better not be Barney.
who.
Kill
No.
Geiger. Don't kill Barney. You don't come back killing a dog. You just can't do it.
No. I don't know if they've watched John Wick before, but that's a cardinal sin.
That's a cardinal sin.
Absolutely. So yeah, I enjoyed it as well. We got some of the. Was it last week or this week? I guess it was last week. We talked about the Hyde Street and everything, right? The things that came out.
Yeah, Devour and the covers for Hyde Street. Yeah, we talked about that one last week. Yeah, that's
Yep.
on the way quick. Great episode of Geiger. Gail Simone returning to comic books in a massive way this week with Action Comics. We're back to our regular scheduled programming. We just got done with the House of Brainiac, but before that started, we had kicked off this new initiative for the Superman title, Action Comics, called Superstars. And inside of Action Comics, are bringing in writers to do 3-issue arcs. We had Jason Aaron do his first 3-issue arc with Superman. And then we entered House of Brainiac, where Williamson took over and helmed that. But now that that's over, Gail Simone stepping in for her first installment for her 3 issues. And it's going back to the early days of Clark, back when the shield was black with the yellow outline with the red S, very prominent there. And she did a stellar job. Basically, alien invasion, not invasion, but an alien conflict ended up on Earth, and he's stepping in to try to protect the people involved as well as the humans on the planet. So he's having to battle as a champion to one of the alien races to try to stop the other ones.
Right. Just from the cover, you can see the Ashley talking is very, very Fleischer-esque to do that. So you kind of get the feel, and it even gives you like that noir feel, although it really is not set in the 40s. It seems like it's more set probably in like the 80s or so for the most part, because he is back at WGBS. And
Jimmy wants to be called Mr. Action.
exactly, Jimmy
It
wants
was
to be
cool.
called.
The vibes were all there. The vibes were all there.
Yeah. And we see at the very end, there's these people who have come. Basically, they have come to Earth. They are a group of captors and captives that have come and trying to distinguish who is who and everything. Um, I've traveled in the future and read. Oh yeah, that's right. That comes out this week. Dark Knights of Steel All Winter #1. Very enjoyable read. Nice. And I think it's got a backup story, Paul, right, by Tom Taylor, expanding the universe, I believe. Although the main story isn't by him, I don't think. Um, but they basically they also levitate this huge aircraft carrier. And at the very end of the issue, the aircraft carrier is falling to the to Earth, and we learned earlier that, by the way, if it hits something, it will destroy half of a state if it hits something because it's a nuclear powered aircraft carrier. So. Um, and then in a backup story, there's a backup story as well, which is basically comes back to the present, where again Lois is actually now the publisher or the editor of the Daily Planet, and she basically has come to the conclusion that Clark can't do Superman stories anymore because there's a conflict of interest. So there's going to be 3 stories that explore this in the backup of Action Comics behind Gail Simone's stories. So kind of interesting. Battle of the Three Armies, nice backup story. Battle of the Three Armies. All right.
Now I'm missing home seeing Paul post that in the comments.
Yeah.
So wait. So here's the question: we may not have an answer, but I heard you mention that is All Winter not a continuation of the Dark Knights of Steel proper?
This goes back. Yeah, it sets it in the Viking period, I believe.
Yeah, this is like Viking Batman.
Right.
They just relaunched the Elseworld imprint. We've always had Elseworld titles, but since they put the imprint on it, they gave us Gotham by Gaslight, Kryptonian Age, Batman All Winter, which is a Viking story, and Dark Knights of Steel Volume 2 is coming next. Now, I don't know directly next, but it's also slated to have a follow-up.
Gotcha.
This is Dark Knights of Steel and All Winter are the same thing.
Oh, that is the same thing?
Correct. So it is, but this is All Winter is set in the Viking Age, but then the backup story, my understanding is the backup story, and Paul can tell us if we're right or not, but the backup story by Tom Taylor is expanding his original Dark Knights of Steel that he did.
I wonder if they're going to bring those 2 things together.
That's what I'm wondering, if All Winter is, I don't know, years from the end point of the first volume.
Or just a
different Dark Knights of Steel.
I want to say that the Dark Knights of Steel All Winter
is the in between time
has more to do with Deathstroke than it does Batman.
So that's what I was wondering, if this All Winter thing is just going to be a different character, then in a different place they'll fold in. Because wasn't Deathstroke? No, Deadshot was.
Deadshot was with Amanda Waller. Yeah,
Deadshot was with Waller.
Right.
But Deathstroke wasn't there.
Right.
So maybe it's at the same time, but maybe another part of the Earth or something.
Right. Because if you notice, I think on the cover, it's his mask is like split in 2, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's got the classic Viking thing with the horns.
But yeah, it's
interesting too, because after Tom Taylor did Deceased, he did that little expansion featuring Deathstroke finding the villains and doing the unkillables.
Mm-hmm.
So he's clearly a Deathstroke fan.
Yeah.
What else dropped this week? I know that Hulk Blood Hunt book came out. I didn't get a chance to read that yet. Kryptonian Age 2.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
It's pretty good. We see in this issue Adam Strange. We're introduced to Constantine in this world. Batman is still fighting against the League of Shadows. So we got lots of different things. We basically see the death of Constantine, or is he dead? Maybe he's dead. Maybe he's not. Either way, he has powers. But basically, what it is there are all sorts of these relics that are owned by people, and both the relic and the people are disappearing. And all these relics are from the Kryptonian Age, which we find another relic at the very beginning that Professor Adam Strange is basically searching for. So Still very good. I love the Dennis Cohen cover, the B cover there. Um, but basically, we end with we see a Kryptonian age Wonder Woman shows up at the very end. So we look forward to her in issue number 3. So
I think I had a good, well, I don't say a lot, a handful of non-DC stuff I'm trying to remember too.
we had, we had the X-Men. What up,
That's it, Transformers. What did you think of that one, TJ?
I really enjoyed it. I've been enjoying all of them, but this expands on the psychopath known as Shockwave coming to Earth and trying to enact his evil plan. Which, spoiler alert, you may have seen this tried in Transformers: Dark of the Moon, because Shockwave thinks that it's going to be too much to send energy from Earth to Cybertron, and so we're going to bring Cybertron to Earth and also torture a couple of Autobots, because we saw Ultra Magnus in a very destroyed state. He's still alive, but he's in a terrible state. He wants to die. And in issue number 10, we find out it's because Shockwave experimented on him. And right now, Shockwave has Cliffjumper and Jazz, and I assume he has similar ambitions for how he treats them. Also, there may be a split between Shockwave and Soundwave in the future. There's a conversation between Elita 1 and Optimus Prime about where he should have been and if he should have stayed on Cybertron and everything. But all of the important bits of this issue are pretty much Decepticon related. Oh, and Beastcomber shows up, and Beastcomber has been living on Earth, and he's been communing with the animals and the trees and all the living things of Earth. And he had a chance to wake up the Autobots and Decepticons after they landed, and he decided no, because if I wake them up, it's going to start a war on Earth. So I'm going to just leave them there.
nice.
Which he has a point, but eventually they wake up anyway. But Transformers 10 was good.
Nice. I stand corrected. The backup story is labeled as being 25 years before the Battle of the Three Armies. First page has a young Jonathan and Martha in armor fighting what looks like nice. So that's maybe how they're connecting the two then with the Vikings and everything. So can't wait to see it this week. So
right.
The Transformers sounds incredible.
Transformers was very good. Was very good.
Very nice.
There's a big death coming too, TJ.
Which one now? My heart can't take it.
It's the one that broke everyone's heart the first time around back in the day.
They better. Where is Dave Warren Johnson? Let me see if I can talk him out of it at the last minute. He can make some last minute changes.
I think that's how they're going to close out 12, my man. You read the free comic book day one, right? You know who's on the way into the story. Hot Rod's coming. Hot Rod's. We don't need Hot Rod right now. He's still right now, but Hot Rod's. They'll need him by the time he gets there.
Look, we got Hot Rod, we've got Springer and Void Rivals. We've already got RC on Earth. I think they're trying to covertly do this to me. I think that's the plan, is to covertly add Hot Rod, RC, Springer, and Ultra Magnus, and like under the radar give me the 86 movie, which I don't want Optimus to go, but I mean, if you really love that version of Transformers, then it's a fact of life.
Doesn't sound like they're being too covert about it, though. It sounds like they're being almost overt. So,
well, I live in a fairyland, Paul, and sometimes it takes information a little while to infiltrate my fairyland, and that is why Scotty Young hates fairyland.
You live in a fantastic place where spoilers don't often get to.
Spoilers don't happen, and everything is nice and harmonious, and yeah, Optimus never dies. All the good stuff.
Yep.
It'll be
Um,
interesting to see what they do for sure.
Right.
so we also had with Absolute Power, we had Task Force 7, issue 1 came out. Green Lantern number 13
Oh,
came out.
Green Lantern this week. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
If you want to know about those, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., Mark will be taking a break from his vacation to do our DC Comics deep dive.
I'm gonna drive home to film it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. He's gonna green screen it. Um, and then on Wednesday, I guess that key he'll be deep in witness protection. Um, so yeah, so tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, normal time, we'll take a look at both of those. Um, but also, this was a big week. If you're an X-Men fan, From the Ashes, X-Men 1 came out, the new X-Men title. So that came out. Did anybody get that?
I haven't. I have not read it yet. That was actually the next book on my list, but I haven't read it yet. That and Ultimates are like the next two on my list.
Yeah, I've had a handful of discussions on the X-Men stuff. X-Men fans were even let down by it. It didn't come out to rave reviews, kind of the opposite.
Really? What are they saying about it? I read it. I don't have a lot of X-Men history behind me, so
I don't think you need it for it.
mhm.
And however you felt about it, just imagine if you did have a lot of X-Men history, then read that, and you felt the way you feel about it right now. Like it doesn't explain the team while they're there. It's kind of disjointed. It's goofy, like Magic and Juggernaut arguing over rock paper scissors, and just like it was just quirky and pointless, is what
Yeah,
most people said.
they meet the sheriff of the Alaska town that they're in, and
These.
um,
I don't want those. I was just saying.
so I mean, again, it'll be the first of three main titles that'll be coming out. So
Yeah, there's 9 titles total. 9. You
I
got
just
like
want them. I just want them to stay separate. Just don't try and force me to read all of them, interweaving them right off the bat. That's all I want.
well,
Because I
even
because
though
I'm
even
gonna
though
I'm gonna
he's
give.
not gonna be part of this team, but Wolverine is in this issue. Um, so
Is Wolverine officially on a team
I believe
of
he's
the main
on.
in the main three books?
He's in the one with he's an Uncanny, I think, the Gail Simone
Okay.
one, I believe.
an uncanny, one other adjective one.
Exceptional.
Exceptional, yeah.
And then there's the what's the X-23 book?
That Knicks,
Yeah, NYX,
yeah.
Mhm. Is X
Storm,
Force.
Phoenix, X-Force, Wolverine. There's It's not a jump on point, it's a fall off point. Like when they announced that X-Men was going to be relaunching, I thought to myself, all right, I might try this out. And then I saw like they announced that line. I'm like, I'm not touching that. That's crazy.
Right.
Well, so I'm kind of the and this is why I say I hope I hope they don't interweave all the titles right off the bat. 'Cause I don't if there are 9 titles, I don't mind there being 9 titles out there as long as I don't feel the need to read one of these supplemental titles in order to understand the main X-Men or Uncanny X-Men. Just don't make them because like Krakoa, I immediately felt that like I was gonna need to like read 4 or 5 books in order to feel satisfied. And that's why I fell off it just like that. But if you give me 1 or 2 books that I feel like I can just read those standalone, I'm okay. The rest of them can exist. That's fine. I don't need to bother them. I'm okay with them. But don't make them so 3 months in I have to read 6 books in order to feel fulfilled in a story.
Yeah, I mean, to me, part of that is like with the Krakoa books, the Jonathan Hickman. I mean, when he's writing it and he has this like 5-year plan, I feel like you need like this big whiteboard with a flowchart on it to understand what's going on with it. Whereas I actually do like what he's doing in Ultimate Spider-Man because that seems to be self-contained. He doesn't
Mhm.
have, he's not trying to weave this big story across 8 different books at the time. You
Right.
know, speaking of Ultimates 2 came out too. I haven't read it yet, but I did pick it up. So because I got the first issue. So, but that came out last week as well. But I think that was all that I had actually for books anyway.
Can I talk about one other book?
Yeah,
Go
absolutely.
for it.
Please.
And it is not Fist of Khonshu Moon Knight issue number 0. I got that one, but that's not the book I want to talk about. Kill All Immortals.
You Zach Kaplan book.
Yes, this was pretty fun intro to this book. We have got a family of immortal Vikings who run businesses around the world, and they, if you don't want to do business with them, they'll do Viking business with you. But the daughter, Frey, isn't part of the family business. The family, they're rich beyond rich. They have old money and everything. She wants to be out doing charity work and doing good for people with her money and her influence. And her reporter friend kind of come under fire. And so she takes care of the people where they come under fire because she's immortal. So she takes care of that issue. And then her and her reporter friend retreat back to Iceland to the family's compound. And then we find out that the hit that was taken out on her and the reporter friend wasn't for her. It's for the reporter. He's doing some kind of story about the family that she doesn't even know about. And so the family wants his head on a platter. And there's a fight that basically separates her from the family of immortal Vikings who want to run business and rule the world, basically.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a great description or not, but that's kind of what I took away from it.
My buddy J-Med went to a little store signing where Zach Kaplan was in there, book releasing.
I saw it. I saw a couple of channels talk about the book, and I decided to pick it up, give it a try. I think I'm gonna give it a couple of more issues and see if it keeps me, and then maybe we'll stick around.
Very nice.
Do you know if it's ongoing or solicited as a miniseries?
I do not know that.
You do? No, wait.
So this week we have Superman and Wonder Woman as part of Absolute Power. We have those tie-ins this week. Trying to think what All Winter, Dark Knights of Steel All Winter. So that's a good one for this week. I think we have more of the X-Men books coming out, number ones, I believe. Not sure which ones. I won't be getting any of those. I may get the Gail Simone one, but I won't be getting any of the outside of the main team books. I may just pick up the first issues and see if anything catches my eye. But other than that, I won't be. But our long national nightmare is over after this Tuesday night with Acolyte, the last episode of the Acolyte. So.
And then we'll get a small break before we get to Agatha, which I'm sure is going to be fantastic, right, TJ?
Yes. I'm back in my little bubble. I'm back in my fairyland.
And Skeleton Crew will probably be the next Star Wars show that comes out.
Oh, when does that come out?
I want to say like late fall. I want to say maybe.
Okay. Man, I'm thirsty for a good Star Wars show. It's been a long time since we had one.
I was telling Paul I need to catch up on Hit Monkey because Hit Monkey I think comes back this week.
The TV show?
Yes, on Hulu.
That's good stuff. That's all I got. If y'all guys are good, just hit 10 o'clock. Trev and Mike are going to be going live. I'm going to go watch House of the Dragons.
All right.
With you too, Sledge. I hope it is. I hope. That's going to be it for this week as far as the channel goes. It's going to be absolutely random and sporadic throughout the week. I do have a CGC unboxing video that's coming out tomorrow that I filmed a while back. The channel members already have access to it. I know better too. We can hope. But just keep the notification bell on. Random content throughout the week. I've also got a lot of stuff from vacation. I've been uploading in shorts and stuff like that. It's fun stuff. TJ, what do you got on your channel?
I've been promising Transformers content, and I've been letting the people waiting with bated breath down. But I'm going to try to get my next Transformers issue out in the next couple of days. And besides that, I've got some comics to unbox, so we'll try to do that too.
What actually is bated breath?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Is that breath that smells like bait?
It's fishy.
It's fishy. I don't know. You have to let me off the hook on that one.
Well, thank you for jumping on tonight, TJ. I appreciate you, man. It was
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I appreciate everybody hanging out and watching. Go watch House of the Dragons. Avoid the Acolyte. Have a good week.